God bless you in the name of the Lord Jesus. I'm going to share a confirmation of the recent prophetic dream that I shared on this channel. I'll put a link to the dream in the description. But this was the dream that I shared on September 28th, 2023. And it was the dream, I had the dream that morning, and the Lord, as I sought Him for understanding, He had me share it that day, which isn't usually common, but He told me to release it that day. So I posted the dream, and this dream was about a coming flood in the harvest season to the United States, to the 50 states. And in the dream, it showed the connection to the days of Noah and the great flood that came on the earth in the days of Noah, with the animals coming in according to their kind. And we also saw the supernatural provision of the Lord, with fruit being delivered from heaven in baskets, and a very firm warning to get inside and to get ready because the flood was coming in the harvest season. And the confirmation in the natural came the very next day. A flood hit the state of New York, and it was a very devastating flood that came that day. But what the Lord was speaking to me is that He often confirms a prophetic dream through a natural event. So I don't believe that that dream that I had was completely fulfilled in that flood that happened the next day. No, that was a confirmation that the dream was from the Lord and that He wanted to confirm it. The earth responds to what is about to happen in the spiritual realm, or what is going on in the spiritual realm. So that flooding in the state of New York was a confirmation of the wider spiritual flood and shaking that is going to hit in this harvest season. And I want to talk to you a little bit about how the Lord confirms prophetic dreams to us through confirmations in the natural. And so before I speak to that, though, the reason why I believe that flood hit New York, the state of New York, is because of also what that state symbolizes to the nation. That state is a beautiful state, and it symbolizes where many immigrants came in to come into our country for their own personal reasons of freedom, but it represents kind of the door into the United States when many people first started immigrating over here. And so that is something that New York symbolizes, and I believe that's going to be part of the shaking, that aspect of our nation, of all these people coming in from other nations. But it also, New York symbolizes Times Square, where all the big things happen, right? Time is highlighted, where events occur. We had the very intense terrorist attack of 9/11 in 2001 occur in that state. That state also symbolizes the money exchange, the stock exchange in Wall Street. So I believe that the confirmation came through a flood in the state of New York because of what that state symbolizes. And I of course, prayed for the protection of the people and the citizens of New York. And I know that the Lord is with them and those who call upon Him as their protector. But when we look at signs in the natural and how the earth responds to what is happening in the spiritual realm, we have to pay attention to how the Lord confirms things. For that dream, it was confirmed the very next day. That is not always the case. And we also have to understand that dreams can be fulfilled in part, but a bigger fulfillment of the dream is still coming. And that's especially true of corporate or dreams that affect the whole nation, the whole earth, the whole church, or dreams about your destiny that the Lord may have part of the dream fulfilled very quickly, but the rest of the dream is still waiting to be fulfilled. And I love that He gives us confirmation in the earth, in the natural, because He knows that that confirmation is often needed for us to continue or to know that the dream is from Him. And the Lord led me this morning as I prepared for this video. I just opened my Bible up to the book of Daniel in the beginning of the book, where Daniel interprets King Nebuchadnezzar's dream, and he describes this statue that Nebuchadnezzar saw with the gold head, symbolizing his kingdom and his reign. And as I continued to read, because I felt like the Lord had led me there very specifically in preparation for this, it's interesting that not that long after, even though Nebuchadnezzar sees, hey, God, this God of Daniel needs to be worshipped, not that long after, he builds a golden image of himself for the people to bow down to. So the Lord was showing me that there is sometimes people fulfill part of their own dream, of the dream they had, even unknowingly. So Nebuchadnezzar was fulfilling the part of him being that golden head that wouldn't last, while he builds this golden statue of himself that would eventually crumble and fall. And so what I just want to finish off speaking to is for those of you who have dreams that you're like, is this from you, Lord? Is this a prophecy? How do I know that this is a prophetic dream from you? You don't have to, especially if it's a personal dream or a dream for an individual that you've had, or a smaller, a church in your town, or something on a smaller scale. The confirmation might be small, but just because the confirmation is small doesn't mean it's a small thing. And the Lord really wants us to pay attention to his ways and how he confirms things through the natural. And I'm going to give you a very specific example of a personal dream, prophetic dream that the Lord gave me for our family, and how he confirmed it through something very small, but the blessing of that confirmation was very powerful. So he uses the earth, he uses events and things in the weather, things in the sky, his animals, his creation, to confirm things that we saw in our dreams. So I'm gonna give two examples that I believe will encourage you to pay attention, not just for big things that show up in the news, but for ways that God is confirming to you personally, hey, I gave you this dream, it was from me, and here is me giving you a confirmation. And so the first dream I want to share is that I had a dream that something very specific was going to come as a breakthrough and a blessing for our family. And in the dream, I saw June bugs flying everywhere. They were all over our front porch. And the Lord, when I woke up, I knew he was showing me that this event, this blessing, was going to come when the June bugs, the season that the June bugs are out. And so it was very interesting, because when I had the dream and he gave me that confirmation in the natural, not that long after the dream, it was not the season of June bugs. And the first season, so I had the dream, the season of June bugs came and went, and the promise still hadn't come. But then later in the year, when it was not a time for June bugs to be out, I was asking the Lord, was that really you? Did I miss it? Because June bug season came and went. And obviously I know, and you know, that just because you have a dream doesn't mean it's going to happen that year. Oftentimes, especially if it's a bigger shift or a bigger promise, it will be for, more than a year ahead. And so I was just feeling discouraged, asking the Lord. And as I was asking him, within, an hour of me talking to him about it, when I was outside, I saw a June bug. And it was his way of confirming to me that even out of season, I can bring a sign to confirm to you, yes, that was from me. Just wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. And so another example that this might be common for you as well is the Lord was warning me of a particular group of people that I needed to come out of alignment with, because they were in exact opposition to the beliefs and the truths that he was revealing to me about what he's doing in the earth. They were in opposition, and they actually mock those things. And he showed me a specific woman that was part of that. She represented that mockery of God's truths and what he's doing in the earth and in politics. She represented that. And in the dream, she was mocking and trying to hinder and stop the truths that I was speaking. And the next day, the Lord confirmed the dream by having that woman, I saw her in the store just, from a distance. And this is not a person I see regularly in the store. So the Lord was confirming the dream just by me seeing her walk by in the natural, that yes, that was from me. And I did warn you about that group that she represents. So I pray that this encourages you, because the Lord can confirm through something as small as a June bug, or as something as large as the flooding of a very precious U.S. state. So those things are up to him, how he chooses to confirm, but we should not throw out small confirmations, because I believe very strongly, and this is something the Lord has taught me, that how we honor the smaller things, the things that could be easily missed, is more important to God than how we notice and appreciate the big things. Just like it's more important to God how we interact with that one person in front of us than how we act if we're given a platform. We have to honor and value the small signs and things that he's showing to us, because that shows our heart is not, we don't need a huge sign. We don't need a big event to believe him. We are looking and listening for him in everything and trusting him to show up and confirm what he wants to say to us. And that's in the small things. So I pray this blesses you.